Hello everyone, long time no see. Well, for you it's probably been like a couple weeks. For me it's been well over a month since I last filmed. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all the kind reception on my last video, which if you missed it, my last video was the long fabled lipedema video. It's actually titled The Debate Around This Fat Disorder, and if you didn't watch it, that's understandable because it is 3.5 hours long. But it is divided into chapters, which are listed in the description of that video for your convenience. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for the positive reception. Honestly, I was kind of worried that no one would watch it. If I'm being honest, I have not been keeping up with Glitter and Lasers, Anna O'Brien lately, and there are a few reasons for that. Number one, I just don't think she's been doing anything particularly interesting lately. Number two, I've been down another rabbit hole, which I started going down while I was doing the research for my last video. So I said I've not been keeping up with Anna, and I hadn't been for quite a while, up until like a couple days ago, because I went through her threads where she is a little bit more likely to pop off and say what's actually on her mind. And I debated even talking about this thread at all, but I also feel like it would be weird if I didn't, because I have a suspicion that it's about me. Specifically that it might be about the lipedema video. And I have no proof that that's the case, especially because it's worded in a very ambiguous way. But I'll let you be the judge of it. The thread says, I have gone above and beyond to document my health journey, involving doctors, showing treatments, sharing more openly about how it affects my life, and etc. People are still trying to call me a liar, say I'm making excuses, and even attempt to discredit my doctors, who are literally experts in their field. And then she responded to herself, I'm not mad about it, it just goes to show it's not about facts. People will believe what they want to believe, even if it makes absolutely no sense. If you want to believe I'm making everything up, you will. That's a you problem, not a me problem. So at first I was like, am I just really self-absorbed, or does this kind of sound like it was about that video? Especially because, you know, specifically that part about people trying to discredit her doctors who are experts in their field. I showed it to some people who like are familiar with the situation, and they also thought it could be about my video. Even if it's not, though, it does open the door for me to talk about some other things and kind of clarify some things. The thing I feel like I've always been the most concerned about is the misinformation that she portrays, you know, to her audience. At first, it was things like, you know, very like health at every size type of rhetoric, or, you know, misleading her audience about whether or not she was on weight loss medication and how she lost weight while she was on it. And it kind of evolved and culminated in this thing that I was not expecting to happen, which was her, you know, giving so much attention to these medical professionals who I believe are spreading misinformation themselves. I don't care that Anna is fat. I mean, well, I care in the sense that I care about any other human being, like, being well. I want the best for her, and I want her to be healthy. But I don't think it's like a moral failing that she's fat. Like, I really don't care in that sense. In my opinion, though, it is a moral failing to get in front of your huge audience and spread misinformation to them, whether intentionally or not. I think and I hope it was very clear that lipedema video that I made was not a 3.5 hour takedown of Anna O'Brien. It was a discussion about this major problem in the healthcare system in the US and in other places. And like, I did use Anna as kind of a vehicle at times to talk about some of the things I was concerned about, but respectfully, and this is probably something she could turn right back around and say to me, this isn't about you. For what it's worth, I don't think Anna is a liar in regards to her having lipedema, and I don't think she's a liar in that it affects her life in a negative way. I think she's lied or misrepresented things or stretched the truth about other things in the past, and in some ways, things relating to her lipedema. But I don't think she's lying about having this condition. I I don't think you could come away from my video thinking that I don't think lipedema is real, or that I think that Anna is making things up. I honestly would have a problem with people who think it's not real or think she's making things up. And to go off of her response to herself, where she said people will believe what they want to believe, even if it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, I feel like I was pretty upfront about my bias, in that, like, I came at this thinking the things that Dr. Herbst and Dr. Amron say don't seem to match up with my interpretation of science. Disclaiming yet again that I am not a scientist, I'm not medically trained, I'm not scientifically trained. I was an English major, and I gave that disclaimer, and I will continue to do so. But all that being said, I didn't have an agenda going in to discredit these people, like, outright. I thought maybe there were pieces of the puzzle that I was missing. I will say I was considerably more skeptical of Dr. Amron from the start. I think a lot of people were. But as far as, like, Dr. Herbst, like, I didn't have any kind of agenda about her. She didn't even mention Dr. Herbst until very recently, long after I learned who she was. So yeah, like, I didn't set out to make a video to discredit the things that Anna was saying just because I hate her, or I want to make her out to be a liar or anything like that. I just saw a lot of scary misinformation in the medical field, and I wanted to say something about it. So yeah, I did want to clarify that too. I don't know, I see a lot of things in my comments sometimes that are just, like, genuinely rude and mean to Anna, and I don't want to foster that kind of community. Like, whether or not the things that are coming out of my mouth are, like, outright rude or not, I don't know. That's just something that concerns me, and it's something that makes me hesitant to talk about Anna, especially, like, the nitpicking of stuff. Like, I think we can all agree that Anna is kind of goofy, and I'm entertained by that. I'm frustrated by her sometimes. Like, we can sit here and poke fun at her silly Christmas sweaters. But in reality, like, what does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, she's not hurting anybody. I'm criticizing my own nitpicking and my own comments about Anna that I've made, videos that I've made about her, criticizing things about her that in the grand scheme of things really don't matter. I can't take responsibility for every mean person in my comments, but I should at least think about my own portrayal of myself and what I think is okay. And there's also a ton of really nice people and constructive criticism in my comments. And I'm grateful for that. And yeah, yes, I do have an anxiety disorder. Why do you ask? Now, if and when she gets back on the internet and starts spreading more and more misinformation, there's a good possibility I will address it. This whole lipedema treatment journey that she's been on is kind of difficult to talk about, because I do genuinely feel like there's a bit of a gray area. I do think that people with a large platform, or any size platform, honestly, have the responsibility to vet things and not spread misinformation to their audiences. But it's not unreasonable for Anna to take the word of her doctors, right? Like, how many times have I or other people in this corner of the internet gotten on here and said, why don't you go to the doctor and listen to your doctor, right? So what are you supposed to do when there are doctors out there who are genuinely credentialed? They have MD after their name. They went to school for many, many years to earn that title. Like, what are we supposed to do when those people can't necessarily be trusted? It shouldn't be expected that everyone should have to do 6 months of research just to figure out whether or not their professionals are peddling, like, pseudoscience or things that have no scientific backing. So as harmful as I believe that Anna has been in promoting people like Dr. Amron and Dr. Herbst, I can't put all the blame on her. I put the majority, like 80-90% of the blame, on those doctors, you know, because they did have a decent platform before she got involved. But yeah, I can't put all the blame on Anna. I can't put all the blame on Allison Jacobs or Kara Cruz, Pale Ginger Pear. Like, I can't put the blame on these influencers who just went to these doctors and are taking their advice. You know, it's really unfortunate. I feel like we're uncovering a lot of these lately. People who have all these credentials, but the things that they're promoting are very questionable or just completely misrepresented. I watched a video recently by I think the YouTube channel is called Happy Pancake, but the video was about the Alzheimer's research field and the fact that this like leading name in Alzheimer's research was recently revealed to have been misrepresenting data, and a lot of this data was used to form medications and things that were being tested. That video came out around the time that I was making my video, and I thought, wow, this sure feels timely, because just because someone is an expert in their field doesn't exempt them from the fact that they're also a human being. Human beings make mistakes. Human beings have agendas, and human beings lie. Just because someone is a doctor or researcher doesn't exempt them from those things. It's also really frustrating because, like, the academic debate is normal and common, but I feel like the things that I showed in my video are not that at all. It would just be untrue to say that like Karen Herbst and Tobias Berch are on opposite sides of a debate and that they're both legitimate, because I really don't think that's the case. One of my favorite YouTubers is Gutsick Gibbon, or Erica. She is a primatologist who talks a lot about human evolution, and she also dedicates a lot of her time to debunking pseudoscience, specifically usually like young earth creationist Christians who don't buy into human evolution or a lot of other things about science. And it's aggravating because there'll be scientists who have genuine disagreements with their peers about like whether a certain bone belongs in a certain species or another. But then you'll have the people who are questioning the existence of evolution in the first place, and they are very much not on the same playing field at all. It's just really ironic to me that there are people in the comments of Anna's thread saying that the people who don't buy into the opinions of Anna's experts are the type of people who would vote for Trump, or the type of people who get medical advice from RFK Jr. I feel like, in my opinion, some of the people who are promoted as experts in the lipedema field are way closer to the category of RFK Jr. than they are to legit medical science. Certainly a bit of an exaggeration, but the parallels are there. I mentioned in my last video that it felt a lot like Dr. Herbst and her associates begin with a conclusion and try to work backwards to show it's true, which is something I see so often from conspiracy theorists and people who deny science. And if you're not aware of American politics, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Is a conspiracy theorist. He is a vaccine denier, a huge spreader of misinformation about COVID-19, believes that there's some conspiracy or whatever about HIV not actually leading to AIDS, and he's just a piece of crap, and I hate him so much. And he's recently been appointed to Secretary of Health and Human Services, which is probably the most terrifying thing to come out of all of this. It's really irritating because I feel like a lot of the people who follow Anna and who follow Dr. Herbst, Dr. Amra, like all of this community, right? I feel like a lot of them lean more liberal, as do I. But the problem is that, and I fell into this trap too, of thinking that conspiracy theories and science misinformation and disinformation follows a party line, because it absolutely doesn't. All this is to say, no matter who you are, no matter what you believe in. I think it's always good to have a healthy amount of skepticism. And I know that for lay people, myself included, science seems very daunting and inaccessible. And in a lot of ways it is. I led a lot of people, I feel, to my favorite podcast, Oh No, Ross and Carrie, which was about questioning things, you know, having that healthy dose of skepticism, investigating things yourself. And neither of them were professional scientists, you know? And that podcast ended unexpectedly while I was making my last video. And I don't know. It was kind of weird, and I'm not going to speculate about anything because just referring to it in the past tense is dealing me enough psychic damage, if I'm being real. And I feel like there's just like a hole in my heart now. And I think people need to be doing what they were doing, which is investigating things that seem questionable just to see, you know? I feel like the spirit of that was in the video that I made. I hope I don't come across as somebody who would make something like that out of spite. I don't know. I'm probably just taking this thread to heart that probably doesn't have anything to do with me, because I'm not the only one who's questioning these medical doctors, you know? But I don't know. I don't want anyone to think that I hate Anna for any reason. I don't. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. I don't know when you will see me next, because like I mentioned, I have kind of gone down another rabbit hole of questionable medical practices. So that's a thing. It's probably going to take me a while to make that also. I have a couple of ideas of things I want to talk about, but they're both gonna take a long time. So I'm not sure when you'll see me next. So if I don't see you for a long time, I hope you have happy holidays. I hope to see you again sometime. But thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I'll see you next time.